Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video. And in this video I'm going to be showing you some scary stuff that you should be doing, that you shouldn't be doing while in the aquascaping hobby. Because we know when you're in this hobby there's some certain rules and certain things that you should follow, and this hobby tends to be a lot of work for a lot of people, and some people tend to neglect their tanks. So yeah, stick around, you're going to see some scary stuff in this video. So let's get started. Before we get started, I'm just going to take you through a quick story about when I got into the hobby and my experiences through the hobby, and you're going to understand why I'm actually telling you this story as we go through this whole video. So I got into the hobby in 2023 October, around the 15th, and I got my tank from my cousin, basically my cousin's husband, who's also basically my cousin. So I got my tank from him when they were moving to UK, and when I got that tank, he gave it to me with a pump, 7 guppies, and sand, and a few wood pieces. So that's basically what came with the tank. So when I got the tank, I was like really excited, because going to his place, he will have like 3 tanks, 4 tanks, 5 tanks, which looked beautiful, with beautiful fish in it. It was just amazing. It just got me like, you know, wow, aqua life is just amazing. Nature itself is just absolutely amazing. So he basically kind of sensed that I was passionate about this. So he blessed me and gifted me with this amazing, beautiful tank. So when I got the tank, I was like so excited. I just wanted to I went onto YouTube, watched videos of like how to scape your tank, how to make your tank beautiful, how to do all these amazing things, right? I went on YouTube and I just got super excited, and the energy and the passion was just flowing through me, and I just couldn't contain myself. So what I did was I watched the video. So like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try something. I scaped my tank. I scaped it as beautiful as first time I can actually scape the tank, right? Even though you can watch many videos, it still wouldn't come out that beautiful, you know. So I scaped it. I thought it looked beautiful at that moment, and without me knowing that when you're filling a tank, you actually have to either do it slowly, put a plastic bag, I don't know, you gotta just do it slowly, right? So I fill it up with like spring water, and then I just boom, throw it in, and then just like that, everything, the pebbles, the skylight gravel, the wood, everything just gets buried by the sand, and it's just a complete mess. But instead of wasting water, I was like, you know what, let me just leave it like that, and you know, it was still fine, right? So later on, then I rescaped it. I took a bag of firewood, and then I found amazing pieces in there. So I took those pieces and then I used that to like rescape the tank, but not knowing that when you're taking driftwood, you have to soak it, or it has to be soaked for a long period of time, right? So over time, this scape was actually it was a step up from the first scape, and my big mistake, right? So the second mistake was like not knowing that I needed to soak the wood. So slowly, the water started turning black, like real black. It almost looked like Coca-Cola. I think it actually looked like Coca-Cola, like over time. But I didn't change the water because I didn't want to waste time. I'm in water. So after a certain period of time again, then I rescaped it. I think that was when, I rescaped it into something beautiful. And but this whole time I actually didn't have a light for my tank. So when there was actually black water, there were actually baby guppies in there. So like there ended up being a lot, from 7 guppies to like a huge amount, and then from there it was just like the hobby just started exploding and becoming big and big, and they were like, wow, I'm breeding guppies. my escapes are like amazing, but I'm like, learning this and this and that, So this was like this has just been like since October, like last year, right? The time frames I'm just gonna just jumble them up. So after that, I rescaped it, put in a light, strip lights, which I'll show you later on in the video. I put those in a container because I wanted an open tank, right? I didn't want I wanted an open. No, this time I actually wanted to close the tank. I wanted to close the tank because my guppies were actually just jumping out of the tank. I don't know. I'm not sure if my water level was high or like, but they were just jumping out. So I ended up putting a lid, and I wanted the light. So I ended up putting the lights in a glass container. I put them in submerging it into the tank, and that's basically another one of my escapes as well, which is actually interesting. And then and this whole time I didn't know about plants. Okay, I did know about plants, but I just didn't have the cash to actually go out and buy plants. So after that, I ended up going to the community. I had some cash with me. I bought a $60 crypt from a guy. His name is Gero. He sells plants. So I bought the plant from him, but instead of putting it into the main tank, I was like, you know what? Since I was like, that time I was focused on like breeding guppies. So what I did was like, you know what? Let me put it in a small biscuit container, and so that it can actually act as a filtration basically. But without light, with an amazing substrate, it didn't really last. It lasted for quite some time, but there was no growth, and it ended up dying. The snails ate the baby guppies ate the plant, and like $60 went down the drain like that. And after that, I was pissed off because like I love the idea of live plants in your fish tank and how amazing they look in your fish tank. So after some while, again, I rescaped my tank a couple of times. And in this whole process of me rescaping my tank, I'm also learning about the hobby itself, things that you should do, things that you should not do, the maintenance required to keep up with the scape and like all this, because sometimes it's so easy to like, okay, I'll do a water change tomorrow. Oh, you know what, I'll fill up tomorrow. And then later on you realize it's a whole mess. Oh, I'll clean the filter tomorrow. I'll do all these things. So then later on, my cousin, Guppy started actually like, I was noticing that, there's some that are actually dying and some that are just swimming at the top. Then I texted him like, yo, what's going on with the guppies? This is what's happening. And what? I was like, oh, do you have a ash stone, or you have an ash stone and a filter? They was like, no, you just gave me the pump with the pipes. I'm like, oh. Then he sent me to his friend to go and collect one, but then I tried it didn't work, and like it was a whole lot of things. So I ended up making my own filter. I bought my ash stone and made my own filter, which is amazing. The fish ended up being happy and like all this, and I was also happy, and getting to learn about how filters actually work and the whole process and like all these things. It was all fascinating. So, which brought me to the first video I made where I actually thought I was like confident enough with my escaping. I was like, you know what, let me actually share this with the world. And then this video I'll just link right there. And then it was actually amazing. And then after that, I ended up rescaping. Like when I was doing water changes, some things were just falling apart since I didn't have glue. So it kind of like ended up like being kind of like a rescape. So I think twice. And then later on again, I ended up getting plants. So my first plants, I think it was hornworts, and I forgot the other name. I'll just show them to you later on. And I decided to do a complete rescape with plants and wood and rocks, and that's the scape that I have right now. So the reason I'm actually telling you this story is just to tell you from where I came from, not knowing anything about the hobby, to like learning a lot throughout this hobby, and being part of a community, a WhatsApp community where you get to learn about things that you shouldn't do, things that you should do, and all these things, and just trying to find, me asking questions like, yo, is there an easy way to do this and do that and do this, and being told like, no, there's no easy way to do this and do that and this. You just have to follow the rules and stick to them and keep up with your maintenance. And as much as a fish tank can be a piece of art in your home, it's completely different from from a painting or a picture that you put on the wall, because this one has live plants, has live fish in it. So if you neglect it, you're basically, how do I say this? We were given power by God to have dominion over live things. So if you decide to say, I want to take care of fish, that means you need to actually take care of fish, basically. After the pond, filling up the pond video and making the filter for that pond, maintenance of the fish tanks in my pond, I was like, you know what? Let me just live and see what actually happens and how far things will get, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what my tanks look like now, and it's very scary. And we're just gonna talk about things you should not do and what it actually takes to be part of this hobby. So after this amazing long story, let's get started. All right. So if you don't know, I actually have 3 tanks. I have the main tank right here. Look at its condition right there, right? So we have this one, right? Okay, guppies are still alive, and then we have these white things on the glass, so you see the amount of water that is like missing. And then we have this one, the biscuit container that I escaped, and as you can see, there's a whole chunk of water missing. And in here we have baby fries, right? And then if we go to the here we have the pond, right? And the pond, to show you its condition, I'm just gonna show you the filter. You see that? That's nasty, right? So that is the condition of the pond and the 2 fish tanks, right? So usually what happens is when people are in this hobby, they tend to procrastinate, right? If you're someone who procrastinates, then you are definitely going to start neglecting your tank, and you're going to leave your tank being in a condition like this one. Like this one right here. You see that? Not filling up your tank on a daily basis, especially if you have an open tank. For me, I usually fill up on a daily basis so that I don't have to scrape these white things often, right? So to avoid this, it's very simple. I'm gonna talk about my tank specifically. I'm not gonna make assumptions for something I don't know. Mine is a 30-liter tank, right? So let me just quickly show you. So in order to keep up with my tank, I need to, on a daily basis, this is what I fill it up, and then I pour it so that it gets back to the level that I actually want it to be at. And if you don't actually know what the level of your tank is or where you want it to be, when you first escape it and you fill it up, what you can basically or simply do is mark it so that you know that okay, that's the water level that's where I want the water level to be, right? That's one simple thing that you can do, so you don't have to be lazy and be like, oh man, I have to be like, okay. Simple. I have an e-spring, so I just go directly to the tap and I fill it up with water and then go in there. I don't know how I think you're supposed to have, I'm not sure how it works with the dechlorinator, so I'm not going to speak about that. So you just fill that up, and that one I haven't yet done like filling up, so I don't know how many of these I will actually need. So that's one of the things that you can basically simply do so that you avoid making your tank look ugly, and then people come in and they're like, that's nasty. That's nasty. And if you're actually someone who's actually very busy, there are people you can actually hire and be like, yo, can you do maintenance on my tank? I'll be glad to do maintenance on your tank for a month, for a monthly fee, on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, you know. So yeah, there's that. So now what we're gonna do is we're just basically gonna clean the biscuit container, clean this up, That one, I think, yeah, that one we're gonna clean the filter. I think we're also gonna clean this filter as well. And then this one is gonna clean this one, which is gonna, the basically container. We're just gonna clean the edges and then fill it up with water. Take the babies to the pond, and then put in a mummy pregnant guppy that is in here into there. So yada yada yada. Let's get started. Alright, so we have everything we need to get these tanks into tip-top shape. Our buckets, these for when we're filling the tank up, and a scrub bag for removing the minerals or whatever those white things are. So in the last video, I said I use a broken knife. That actually takes me it takes me a long time to actually get those white minerals off the glass. So what I'm gonna use is a scrub bag that doesn't actually scratch the glass. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by just doing maybe a 10, I don't know, I think a 50% water change of the water in the main tank. Yeah, we're gonna do a 50% water change of this water right there. This one is just a matter of scraping it and then filling it up, and then that one, the pond, we're gonna just do a water change in that and clean the filter and then fill it up again. And then what else? There's something else. I think that'll be in the next video. Yeah, I think that'll be the next video. But anyways, I will see you guys. I'll see you guys after I'm done with this one. This one is gonna be, I'll do it after this one because it's very easy to do, just taking it to the kitchen and then working on it. But anyways, let's get started. Alright, so what I've done is I did a 50, I took out 50% of that water that was left, and then put the filter in there for when I actually clean it. There we go. That's for when I actually get to cleaning the filter. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just basically gonna clean the glass and then scrape it, fill it up, clean the filter, put it back in, go to the next and the next, and then we call it a video. So I'm gonna use this and this to clean. It's funny, man. It's funny, isn't it? These are things, the exact things that you use for when you're doing dishes. But anyways, it's gonna be exciting, so let's get to it. Alright, so you guys notice a big difference from when we first started and how it's looking now. So on to the next step, filling it up with spring water and then cleaning the filter and moving on to the next one. So yeah, that was actually not easy. So for those of you who don't actually know what the e-spring is, so the e-spring is a UV treatment system which basically filters water directly from the tap. Connected right there. That's the normal tap water, and if you want dechlorinated water, which has reduced 140 contaminants that are possibly in your water, there's the filtered water, and that's the one I'll be using. And this bad boy basically filters up to like 5,000 liters of water, which is actually pretty amazing and makes the whole fish keeping hobby very easy. But it was gonna be amazing if I had a hose pipe and then I just directly to the fish tank. But anyways, let's get to filling this thing up, since now you know what the e-spring is and the water I'll be using. So let's do that. So I'm gonna be fetching water from these two containers from the e-spring, and then coming and pouring them in. But while these containers are filling up, I think I'm just gonna start cleaning the biscuit container, which is basically the other tank. And let's get cracking. So we're gonna go to the kitchen and we're gonna carry this one. You see how easy this is to actually fill up when your water evaporates. You just go straight to the kitchen, and then you don't have to let your water completely evaporate and killing your fish and destroying your plants. So we're gonna come here, and we're gonna come here and clean the biscuit container, which is basically the other tank. So these are the things that I'm gonna be using, like I said, this and that, to clean this. So like these plants, most of them are probably dead, so we're gonna have to take them out once we fill it up. And like I said, there are baby guppies in here. So like I said, when you have baby guppies, you don't really want to have your tank looking like this, because they might end up dying and becoming unhealthy. But yeah, let's clean this up and get these guys into the pond. Yeah, this one is most definitely gonna scratch this container. It's plastic, so try and do it lightly and carefully as possible. I think we might have to rescape this whole thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take these things out, and yeah, I'm gonna rescape this whole thing. I'm gonna take these things out. So plants were dying, and then we're gonna just basically rescape the whole thing. I think that's gonna be easier to remove these whole minerals and stuff. So what I'm gonna do now is go and fill the main tank with water, and then once we go into the pond, when I remove these two, then we'll rescape this. All right, so both containers are filled. So once I'm emptying this, once this one is empty, I'll bring it back, then I'll take the other one and make life easy. There we go. But it must be completely weird for you guys seeing me take water directly from the tap and put it into the tank. But I've been using this system for like a year with the fish, and they are absolutely happy. And yeah, whatever works, I guess. So another thing that I learned while I was in the hobby, when I'm actually filling my tanks, is the first time when I actually got the tank, like I told you, I completely and the whole scape just ended up being ruined. So you want to actually do it completely slow. You can use this, and then you can either use this and then you just pour the water in, or you can use a jug, do it slowly and carefully. But I want to fill this and make this video as short as possible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, put it on top there like that, and then just go crazy on it. Okay, first bottle done, on to the next. Alright, so I wasn't expecting to wait when I was filling the bottles. I was having 2 bottles. So what I'm gonna do to make this whole process faster is I'm gonna take another container, another juice container, wash an empty one, wash it, and then use it for the whole process as well. So we just do this like real fast. So 1, 2, then this will be the third container. So basically just rinse it, get all the juice out, and then use it for the filling process. I wonder how long you guys with the 300-liter tanks and 100-liter tanks actually take to fill your tanks. So as you can see, there's my mark right there, and there's the water level right there. So on a daily basis, the water is gonna evaporate. So all I have to do is go to the tap, fetch my spring water, filtered water. Is it filtered water? Defilter, dechlorinated water, and just pour. And then that's how you basically do. So you're gonna have daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, and then monthly maintenance. So basically that's the whole process. So if you do the things that you're supposed to do on a daily basis, your weekly maintenance will be easy. Then if you do the weekly maintenance, your monthly maintenance will be easy. And then you have a beautiful piece of art. When people come in, they're like, oh wow, you have a beautiful tank. And then they praise you for what an amazing job you do on a daily basis. So if you look at the way it was when we first started and the way it is right now, it is completely different, and it made like the plants are now rising and they look completely beautiful. I mean, just look at that. That is amazing. So yeah, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna clean the filter and then put it in and then go to the pond. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean the filter for the main tank and then put it back in, because the way the water has been flowing out has been real slow. These can also remove. So can that. And then this thing can also be dismantled. As you can see, look at that gunk right there. You see that? Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to basically just round up this tank by just wiping the small bits and dots of water around it just to make it perfect, and then we move to the pond. So let's get that done. Chill, go to the room. So, and just like that, maintenance on the main tank is done. So what you want is to keep it like this 24/7. And the simplest way for you to do this is by, if you have no lid, the simplest thing for you to do is just to continue, like you have to know the amount of water that evaporates on a daily basis. For me, I put a mark right here so that I know that any water that goes below that mark is water that I need to replace on a daily basis. And you can just basically be scraping off those white minerals maybe on a weekly basis. You don't have to do it on a daily basis, but just on a week. That's something that you do on a weekly basis. But the thing that you must be doing on a daily basis is making sure that you fill it up on a daily basis, so that on the weekly maintenance is easy. It's just and you're done. Not having to do like what I did when I was first cleaning this tank. So we're done with this one. And as you can see, a tank is supposed to be something that makes the house look beautiful. Just look at that. Beautiful, amazing, everything looks nice. The fish are even happy, the plants are rising, and they are making the whole scape amazing. So now onto the pond. So now we've done the main tank, and this is just gonna be redone completely because my negligence has made this impossible to clean. So I'm just gonna have to redo the scape. But before that, I'm gonna put the baby fry that I in here into the pond. And for those of you who have watched the pond video, you know that this pond is basically a project that I'm working on for 1,000 guppies and 1,000 mollies. I'm not sure if I told you why exactly, but if I did it, I'll probably do so in the near future. So let's catch this. So far we have 54 guppies in here, which is amazing because we're almost at 100, and then we have 900 to go. I'm pretty sure by either mid next year or by end of next year, but I'm hoping to have like 100 baby or just 100 guppies in here by like as early as possible by next year. But anyways, enough of that, let's get started with this. So we're gonna take the plants that are okay, put them in here. The ones that I feel like this can grow, put them in there. There's a bit of water in there as well. Then the rest is absolute garbage. Yeah, anyways, let's catch the babies and count them and then put them in here. So yeah, this water is like completely dirty. If I had a glass, I'll probably show you. So now that I have a glass, this is how dirty the water is. Probably looks like coffee or tea. Definitely looks like coffee or tea. So we're gonna do either a 90% water change or a 50% water change. We'll just see. Alright, let's get cracking on this thing. I'm gonna put spring water in here so that I can count how many guppies are in here so that I can get a total. I want to keep track of how many baby guppies that I will actually be breeding in here. Of course, we have a goal, and the goal is 1,000 guppies. So let's do that. Alright, so we had 16 babies in here, so 54 plus 16. So 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 70. So we have 70 babies in here. 70. So you see how close we are to getting to 100. So we add these in here, and that makes 70. So 30 more guppies in here, baby guppies fried in here, and then we have reached 100. So let's get this out of the way. So we do water change, and then there's one more. One more. So 71. So there were 17. This makes 71. That makes 71. All right. It's so small. Alright? So far I haven't been having any luck with breeding the mollies. So once I get maybe. Alright, so I have a broken tank that I got from a lady in part of the community group on WhatsApp, and it has cracks. So in order to have that as a functional tank, I bought silicone, right? But unfortunately, this is the wrong silicone. I can't use this for that tank because it is apparently dangerous or toxic to the fish. And I also didn't read behind here. It says somewhere here, yeah, not suitable for fish tanks. Yeah, I didn't read. I was just so excited to buy silicone to actually fix the tank. So that project will have to be postponed, but I really want to get that one fixed so that I can take the mollies out of the main tank and put them separately so that I can breed them alone and have some success in breeding the mollies, because now the guppies are 70 guppies are head, the babies are head of the mollies, but I just really can't wait. Anyways, with that out of the way, now we're gonna do a water change in this. We're gonna do a water change in this bucket, and yeah. So I said we're actually gonna end up doing a 50% water change, no, 90% water change. And for those of you who are wondering why the water in this thing looks like coffee or tea, is because we are soaking wood in this for another project or another tank. Hopefully the cracked tank, by the time they're done soaking, we'll have that, and we'll probably also have more tanks as well. So that's why we have a pond, and also for that. So it's basically we're killing two birds with one stone, I guess. So yeah, let's do a water change and then fill this up. I have no idea how many weeks it's been, maybe around 3 or so weeks. This is how the wood is looking.
Where is he?
Definitely disgusting.
Luffy can't use his powers.
Look at that.
Because I cursed him. I cursed him when he
I think what I'm gonna do is maybe just rinse this a bit. Just rinse them, just get this dirt off. So I'll go and clean this. Very terrible. Like poop. Smell like poop.
Ela chega e desencana com passo bem solto, passo bem solto, passo bem solto. Ela chega e desencana com passo bem solto, passo bem solto.
Alright, so now we are done doing water change in this one. The water is a bit clear. I can see the guppies from the last time and now. Some have actually gotten big, and you know, I can't wait for this. This actually can be an amazing pond. Like, let me just update you on what happened. So it's been a couple of weeks, and the wood, and I thought the wood would have, you know, will not be floating like at all, but it's still floating. So I guess this is the kind of wood that when you're escaping it, you escape it like with glue. So you basically stick it to a rock so that it doesn't basically float. So I guess I'm gonna have to think about, look for glue, and it's either I look for glue or I work around it, basically. But anyways, we're done with this one. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean the filter. As you can see, this thing is ridiculously dirty. Like, it's just, let me show you how the air stone looks like. Right? That's the air stone right there. Just look at all that. What is that anyways? Just look at that. What is that? It's like some gunk or like, oh, it's nasty. So cleaning this thing is gonna be interesting and fun to watch. So let's get to it. For those of you who didn't watch the video of me making this filter, I really recommend you actually go watch that video. Like, it's just fascinating the way I made this filter. Basically, this is how the clean one looks. I'm not gonna make it completely perfect. So yeah, we're just gonna deal with this, and then maybe in a couple of weeks we will come back to it, check it out, see how it's doing. So what I did in my filter is I made a hole, put the pipe to pass through that hole so that the air filter can be directly at the center of the container. Now it's just a matter of sticking this like completely in. Right, I think that's as far as it goes. So basically what's gonna happen, it's gonna be, when I pull this back, pull that, and then voila. So it lies directly at the center right there. So we close that up, boom, put that in, boom. There you go. Air circulation. Alright, so now we have done what we said we're gonna do, and you guys just remember, do the daily things for maintenance, do the daily maintenance to make the weekly maintenance easy. And once you make the weekly maintenance easy, the monthly maintenance is gonna be easy. And then what happens is you have an amazing tank that looks great throughout the year, throughout the day, and then when your visitors coming to visit, you are proud and glad to actually show them your amazing tank. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this a day, and we will see you guys in the next one, because this is all from Namibia Aquatic Escape in this video. Stay tuned, amazing things are coming your way, and